Welcome to video number 4 for Chapter 33, The Great Depression and the New Deal. The Republicans nominated Kansas Governor Alfred M. Landon to run against Franklin Delano Roosevelt in the 1936 election. Landon was weak on the radio and weaker in personal campaigning, and when he criticized FDR's spending, he also favored enough of FDR's New Deal to be ridiculed by the Democrats as an unsure idiot. In 1934, the American Liberty League had been formed by conservative Democrats and wealthy Republicans to fight what was called socialistic New Deal schemes. Roosevelt won the election in a huge landslide, gaining 523 electoral votes to Landon's 8. FDR won primarily because he appealed to the forgotten man, whom he never forgot. Following the election, FDR makes a miscalculation that is going to affect the power that he had gained from the election. The 20th Amendment had cut the lame duck period down to 6 weeks, so FDR began his second term at the inauguration on January 20th, 1937, instead of on March 4th. The 20th Amendment is the amendment that made the inaugurations take place in January, as opposed to previously when they took place in March. He controlled Congress, but the Supreme Court continued to block his programming. FDR proposed a shocking plan that would add a member to the Supreme Court for every existing member over the age of 70, for a maximum possible total of 15 total members. For once, Congress voted against him because it did not want to lose its power. Roosevelt was criticized for trying to become a dictator and trying to pack the bench. FDR's court-packing scheme, as it was called, failed, but he did get some of the justices to start voting his way, including Owen J. Roberts, who was formerly regarded as a conservative. So FDR did achieve his purpose of getting the Supreme Court to vote his way. So even though it cost him some political power, it still did bring about some changes. However, his failure of the court-packing scheme also showed how Americans still did not wish to tamper with the sacred justice system. During Roosevelt's first term, the Depression did not disappear, and unemployment, down from 25% in 1932, was still at 15%. In 1937, the economy took another brief downturn when the Roosevelt recession, basically caused by some of his government policies, took effect. Finally, FDR embraced the policies of a British economist named John Maynard Keynes. In 1937, FDR announced a bold program to stimulate the economy by planned deficit spending. In 1939, Congress relented to Franklin Delano Roosevelt's pressure and passed the Reorganization Act, which gave him limited powers for administrative reforms, including the key new executive office in the White House. The Hatch Act of 1939 barred federal administrative officials, except the highest policy-making officers, from active political campaigning and soliciting. Was it a New Deal or was it a raw deal? Foes of the New Deal condemned its waste, citing that nothing had been accomplished. Critics were shocked by the try-anything attitude of FDR, who had increased the federal debt from $19.48 million in 1932 to $40.44 million in 1939. It took World War II, though, really, to lower unemployment. But the war also created a heavier debt than before. So in the end, people debate the effectiveness of Franklin Delano Roosevelt's programs on combating the Great Depression. New Dealers claimed that the New Deal had alleviated the worst of the Great Depression. FDR also deflected popular resentment against business and may have saved the American system of free enterprise, yet the business tycoons hated him. He provided bold reform without providing for revolution. Later, he would guide the nation through a titanic war in which the democracy of the world would be at stake. And we'll talk more about whether FDR's policies were successful or if they were failures in our future debates in class. This is the Works Cited page. All of the images used in this presentation are from the public domain.